Do you feel like you're just going through the motions in life? This podcast is for you. A while back, I felt just like you. It wasn't until I heard that whisper in the wind, Nadine, learn to podcast. Now I'm on a journey of discovery, interviewing others who have also leaped into the unknown. I'm Nadineo, creator of the Over 50 You Are Not Done Yet show, a podcast about personal awakenings, spiritual connections, and stories of joy. Shall we begin?
I talked about my mom earlier, but she's an inspiration to me. Mm-hmm. And if I can see her face, even before a take, I think of her. Because I think people have whatever it is that gives them their inspiration. She's my inspiration, always.
There are those times in life that set the course for who we become. Good or bad, we have the opportunity to do great things. Today, I am joined with actor and producer Dina Engel. Come listen to this woman's journey towards happiness. Who is Dina Engel today?
Today, I don't know if Dina Engel has ever really changed. She has grown and learned to understand herself a little better and is much more confident than she was when she was younger. But she's still the same person. She is I like to believe, a kind person, mm-hmm. a caring person, a sensitive person, and someone who just wants to grab life and go with it.
How young are you?
Well, the number doesn't matter. I feel like a tiny kid half the time. I stay in shape, I work out, I read, I do things. I look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, oh my God, that's not me, is it? But I know it is, and I know that we should be gracefully aging and not letting that bother us. Mm-hmm. But it does sometimes. Mm-hmm. When you see yourself physically, you don't feel that way unless you look in the mirror and carefully.
What is it that bothers you about it? Is it just the change in the way we see ourselves, or is it are you looking back on life?
It's not that. It's just, I didn't start my new career till I was 50 years old. And it's one that's very, where you're judged physically a lot. So now that I'm there, all of a sudden I see the lines I never noticed before. I maybe see that my eye droops a little bit the way that it didn't before. And all of a sudden I'm saying, oh my God, now I'm out there trying to get roles. And I know that I look, for my age, a lot of people don't realize that I'm 52, going to be 53 very soon. Mm-hmm. But, I just see the difference. We age, mm-hmm. but it's a good thing, because as we age, we care less about all the bull, that we never cared about before. Who cares about the little things in life? Doesn't matter.
And the reason why I ask that is because I'm finding with the people that I speak with, the way in which we look at our age changes, especially for women, how we see ourselves. There's a period where when we're children, we're excited about, becoming 12, becoming 16, becoming 18, and then, 21. And then, we're in our mid-20s, and then we hit the 30s, and then we don't want to talk about our age. Never ask a woman's age. Now, after 50, looking at our age, we've lived half our lifespan, yet there are parts of us that still feel like a little child, the little girl in us.
It's interesting. You said at this age, we've lived half our lives. And the whole reason I'm doing what I'm doing and everything else is because of my mom, who only lived to be 49 years old.
Oh, You're listening to the Over 50 You Are Not Done Yet show. Tell me why this shift happened. What was it that made you rethink what you were doing with your life?
I was in my 20th year as the COO of a billing and software company. And, prior in life, I was a theater major when I was in college, something that I absolutely loved. But when I graduated and, my mom passed away in my senior year of college, I was a lost kid. I had no idea how to do anything without her telling me what to do and being there for me and guiding me along. So her last healthy year of her life was when she was 47 years old. So when I turned 47 and I looked at my life and, okay, I was very successful at what I did, but I worked 7 days a week. I owned a company. I made a lot of money. I owned 2 houses. Okay, great. Who cares? All I did was work. So I stopped and I thought about my mom. And I thought, wow, 47 was her last healthy year. And here I am, 47, working so hard. What is life? What is really life? And how much longer do I have? So basically, I'm 47. I'm working. I decide that I'm going to sell my part of the company and convince my wife that we should move to Ventnor, New Jersey, because that's where I remember growing up and being with my mom and having a happy life. And let's take a year to just figure out what the rest of our life is going to look like. So she kind of came kicking and screaming, what the hell am I going to do in Ventnor, New Jersey? That was 6 years ago. And I never looked back. I took that first year and I just enjoyed being by the beach, having all those great memories. And then I took an acting class just for the sake of it. And as soon as I took that class, I felt alive again. I felt like, oh my God, here's my passion.
You found your passion.
I found my passion. I didn't know, like I said, if I was any good. Didn't really matter because I was just growing and doing it for the sake of just doing it. Trying to figure out who I was, how to touch parts of me emotionally that maybe I closed off before, things that I didn't want to feel. And through acting, I realized if I was going to be good at it, I needed to open up and be vulnerable. And it's the only way that I can let a character, someone else let a character in. So that was my shift. My shift was my mom passing early and me deciding that if I only had 49 years to live, that I wasn't going to let those last 2 go to waste and try to live every single moment from that point forward. My most memorable role was one that I did last March, and it was a character, her name was Karina, and it was a short film, a story about 2 women finding each other and letting go of their past. But the reason this film was so important to me was that it was the challenge. It was the first time that I had to cry on screen and more than once. And I didn't know if I would be able to do that. And so when I did, I felt like, wow, I was able to do it. People don't really understand acting. You see something on screen and you think, oh, I can do that. What's so hard about that? I would sit there and people judge all the time. Oh, that person stinks. Oh, that person's great. But there's a lot to it. And it's something that I'm still very young at. I have a long way to go. I know that. But, somehow I'm booking roles and somehow I'm trying to do the work that goes along with it. And it's work. But it's work I love so much that if I could work every day, I'd be the happiest person in the world.
More with actress and producer Dina Engel coming up. You are now working on a project. Can you talk a little bit about it? Can you share a little bit?
I would love to. This is a passion project. This is something that we have been working on for a couple of years. My wife was the creator, the story creator. She had an idea about a story in Atlantic City, which is right next to where we live. And she had this idea, like, it's such a beautiful background. You have a beach, you have a canvas that is just so beautiful, but people don't come down to Atlantic City to shoot. When they did Boardwalk Empire, where did they go? Brooklyn or other places. So our goal was to do something local and create this story. So after spending a lot of time fundraising and having a lot of highs and lows because people promise funds and then for whatever reason it doesn't come through, we were able to secure enough money to shoot the pilot episode, which we did in September, which we created a leading role for me. And when I said what was my most rewarding role, I had said Karina for a different reason. The role of Allie Price, which is my character in this particular project, is someone that I just loved playing, but it's not there yet. I want to do that long term. We have to get this thing sold and picked up, and then I'll go back and say that she's the character that I love the most. But she's a lot more like me, so that wasn't really quite fair. So going back to this project, it's a story of, the way we describe it is, The Wire meets This Is Us. Mm-hmm. So you have that grit of Atlantic City. You have the things that aren't great, because that's the case in every city. And then you also have the stories, the people, and that's the This Is Us connection. Not so fluffy, but it's, you care about these characters and you care about their lives, and somehow the way that they intertwine and, the story is told, I think is really interesting. We're very excited about it, and it's in the process of post-production right now, which for people that don't know, I know that you're very familiar, but first we have to have it edited, and it gets color corrected, and then you go through sound, and then you go through the scoring, and et cetera, et cetera. It takes a long time. So once we have that together, we're going to start promoting it, and I'm hoping one day that everybody has the opportunity to see it on some type of streaming network.
So stay tuned.
Stay tuned for sure. Woohoo!
When you started talking about this new project, you look like a little girl in the candy store. You look.
I tell you how much I love candy.
You look
I do.
Excited.
I love this project. I'm so proud of it, and it's something that I think people are going to really grab onto. So that's why.
That's great. That's like really, really great. Links to movies and shows Dina Engel has produced or performed in can be found on our website or in our show notes. What's your dream for the future? Do you have any milestones or anything that you definitely want to do?
Yes. Well, one is something that I just did a couple of days ago, and making another big move in my life. But I feel that I'm going to contradict myself by saying that we created something in Atlantic City, but there isn't enough work in Atlantic City for a working actor. So I find myself going to New York once or twice a week for an audition, if I get booked. And, the wear and tear on my body and my mind, it's starting to, hit me a little. Mm-hmm. So I just got a place in New York. Very
cool.
excited. I just signed with a new management company, and really hoping that I'll get the auditions and start booking more work. So my dream is to, if I could pick a dream, it's to have a leading role on a recurring television series, whether it be 48 Blocks, which I'm hoping that we get picked up and it'll go on for years to come. I just like the idea of creating a character, sticking with that character, and that's my dream. And I will do what it takes to make it happen. You want to talk about being happy? It's scary. It's scary, but I'm so excited because I feel like if you want to be good at something, you can't do it remotely. And I want to be part of the culture of New York. I want to take more classes. I want to get to know the people, you know, in my industry. And by living and breathing and doing it, I'll have a better chance.
There are a lot of people when they get older, they're kind of going through the motions and they feel a certain way, like, you know, is this all there is? And they're afraid to make that leap. What kind of advice would you have for people, even if it's for someone who wants to act, you know, or make their own shows or movies or write a book? What advice would you have for them to encourage them to do it?
The first thing I would encourage is to take a class. That's the first thing. Find out if you like it, if you really like it. If you want to be an actor, you need to learn how to do it. I'm sure there are a few people in the world that never need to take an acting class, but I highly recommend it to the rest of the world. If you want to make films, get involved. Work as a production assistant on a film. See what it's really like. People always need good people. You're always looking for reliable people, so I highly recommend that as well. I took a writing class in Florida a couple of years ago just for the sake of it, and whether or not I decide to do that with my life, I just enjoyed learning. So I think people just are afraid sometimes. You know, they're afraid to fail. They're afraid for whatever other reasons. But what do you have to lose, really? You feel so good when you do something and you just take that step. And I think you have to, you know, try not to fear anything. Like, I know that an acting teacher told me what gets in people's way is the fear of being judged. And it's true. It's very subjective, the field that you're in. You have so many choices to make, you know, when you have a character and you're in a class or a scene or you're on set or whatever. And you're always wondering, well, did I do a good job? Did I do a good job? Forget it. Let someone else tell you if you did a good job or not. If you're not giving them what they need, just do it and don't care what they think. Because when you get that out of your head, that's when your work is going to be better. And it's hard. Life is hard. But, you know, you have choices. And you can, I know it went off a little bit, but if you just try, what do you have to lose?
So would you say that's your motto, or do you have a motto, something that carries you through on those rough days?
I fall back when I have a rough day, and I talked about my mom earlier, but she's an inspiration to me. And if I can see her face, even before a take, I think of her, because I think people have whatever it is that gives them their inspiration. She's my inspiration, always. She was a woman who lived life to its fullest, who enjoyed every single day. And even when they told her she only had 3 weeks to live, she lasted another 9 months. It was her will. It's her smile that I have. It's all the good stuff that she has. The good things about me are from her. Everything else came from who knows, but the good things that I have, I know came from her. And she was bigger than life. So I just take that as my inspiration. So if I have a motto, it is to be kind and just go for it. Just live every day, smile every day. I'd like to tell corny jokes. I love when people laugh. I love those kinds of things. So just make someone else feel good.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see it comes back tenfold. I'll tell you what brings me so much joy is my French bulldog Lola. Just like hearing her crazy noises, she snorts. French bulldogs, boy, they're gassy. They pass a lot of gas. And for some reason with her, I don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
I just love that little stubborn little dog. That's one thing. Being with my wife and taking walks. I love the beach.
Mm-hmm.
I love the feeling of being by the shore. That makes me happy. Little things make me happy. I told you, candy, licorice makes me happy. I'll find happiness. And don't get me wrong, I'm not always happy, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
But I do find joy in little things. And I think that's what makes you young, keeps you feeling young.
You're listening to my interview with actress and producer, Dina Engel.
If you go to dinaengel.com, DINAENGEL, it's a big website, but you'll have access to my Instagram, which I need to start doing more of, and my IMDb page, which lists the projects that I'm doing, and also my production company that I have with my wife is Little Rock Films and Studios. And we also have right now a feature film on Amazon Prime that's available. It's a thriller type of movie called American Gothic. So that's something. And again, keep your eyes out for 48 Blocks because that's going to be the big project that we're working on now.
And why should everyone watch American Gothic?
You can see what you can do on a very low budget.
I mean, okay, so honestly, I tried to watch it and it scared the bejesus out of me. And I probably won't watch it alone. It's been out for how long now, American Gothic?
It's been out quite a few years. We shot that, it's 2019, I think 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago. And it was more of an experiment to see if we could create a film on a low budget and make money in distribution. So prior to that, we were involved in the production of 2 features. One was almost 10 times the amount of money that we spent on American Gothic. So we were just trying to come up with a new formula as business people and say, okay, if you can make a money for X and get distribution and do this, can you make your money back? Because it's so hard. There's so many streaming avenues. There's so many outlets today. And it's really nickels to the dollar that you make back. Mm-hmm. So that was our experiment. We limited the number of characters, locations, wanted to come up with something that was a little scary or a bit of a thriller, because people seemed to be interested in that. And that's what we ended up coming up with. So it's not, you see it just for the sake of saying, okay, 2 women, and they partnered with their friends. My friend Mary Jo, who I've been friends with since first grade, and her husband, who wrote and directed it. We came up, the 4 of us together, produced this project, and to support us. Just watch it to support us.
Did you hit the subscribe button? It's easy. Go ahead. Go ahead. What are you waiting for? Subscribe. Thank you. I will say that people pay to be scared.
They go to haunted houses. They let people jump out and touch them. I never let that happen.
So I will say, you never know. You may have a cult following, say, 5-10 years from now.
Never know. What can
American Gothic. It could be
American Gothic.
The very thing that took you on this trajectory. I so appreciate you taking the time to sit down and share your story.
Thank you.
With us. As Dina says, be kind, go for it. and smile makes someone's day better.
It feels great. When you walk on the boardwalk, you can tell right away, like you say hi to someone and they smile back. They can't, it's so nice just to interact with other people.
Yeah.
It's part of the human connection.
Be part of the human connection. Absolutely. I'm Nadineo, and this is the Over 50 You Are Not Done Yet show. This is Nadineo, host of the Over 50 You Are Not Done Yet show. These last few months have been rough due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Whether you are a believer or not, I just wanted you to know my thoughts and prayers are with you and your family. Stay strong, don't give up, and keep learning new things. We will get through this.